All right, I know we got there's a couple topics we could. There's a hot one in the forum. We've also got an EMPM meeting this afternoon to talk about kind of the to get aligned on milestones that we expect to start seeing some product market fit. Talk about some of those milestones and give anyone the opportunity to propose different milestones or plus one milestone. Any of those sound interesting, or any other topics anyone wants to discuss?
Sure. I think this would probably be good for you to discuss at that EMPM. But with the ShapeShift Terra 2 validator being thrown up this weekend, being built this weekend, throw up's probably not the right word, but just I think it'd be really interesting to try to integrate it into the platform, like app.shapeshift. I don't think I would love to see it be a primary objective of the engineering workstream and product, but I also think it's a good candidate for maybe a follow-up bounty similar to Osmosis, but maybe with tighter time constraints. So if you can complete this by the end of June, maybe it's 1 million Fox or something, just to throw out early numbers. It seems like the longer we wait, the less relevant it'll be. And Terra 2 is kind of trending right now, even though there's a lot of hate, which is a reason to not push this. I could hear that argument, but there's a lot of misinformation around Terra right now, and it's a pretty disjointed experience right now. And lots of people with locked Luna for 2 to 3 to 5 years. There's incentive for it to last 2 to 3 to 5 years as a chain. And if the DAO, ShapeShift DAO, could be a good place to get information and interact with the chain, I think that that's a really strong opportunity. So I just wanted to, I've typed up some fragments, I guess, and wanted to get some feedback before I put a bunch more effort into it.
Yeah, I mean, in general, I'm on board with this strategy, Marley, especially for the Cosmos zones that we support validators for. And I know engineering's been working hard on the Cosmos abstraction. Maybe someone in engineering can chime in on this. The last I heard was that once we add Osmosis support, which Osmosis support I know is a lot of the core Osmosis support is already implemented. Now they're working on the swapping. So we might actually be at the point where we can easily add new Cosmos zones, but anyone from engineering know if we are ready to just, for instance, put up bounties to add these Cosmos zones, or is there still any kind of remaining work that we want to complete before we start adding more zones?
So I'd say there's two pieces. There's the wallet support side of that, and then there's the swapping support. I don't think we should bounty the swapping side until we get, is Alma around? No, he's working right now. Until that gets finalized and how that swapper is going to work with all that.
There is no Terra swapping right now, and it'll probably get added to Osmosis, so we might have already done that. Just think down loud.
Your interest is mostly in staking, or?
Yeah, there's not much known about what's available on Terra 2 yet, but there is no UST mechanism to swap. Terra swap, I guess, is going to be moved, but there is already Osmosis liquidity, be it very small last time I checked. So we might already have swapping once Osmosis is done. Does that make sense? But yeah, simple, really quick follow, stake and send. Is that easy?
So then it goes into wallet support. So if it's through Kepler, that would be rather light. We could talk about native and keep key support for Terra. Both of those are just a little bit more work. But Osmosis swapping would probably be pretty useful, right? Because at some point that pool is going to get bigger. Yeah, there's just a few different pieces on that. So I do think Kepler's about to be added soon, and a Kepler delegation would be pretty light, I bet.
Yeah, Kepler already has it for the new coin on Osmosis.
And where does Kepler support? Does anyone have the latest on that?
Where does what?
Where are we at with Kepler?
Oh, sorry, with our stuff. Sorry.
Yeah, I know it's been in progress. How close are we?
It's still in progress. There was a couple of things that Postagos was working through, but I think it's pretty close now.
Sweet.
We'll know more probably after stand up today, actually.
Yes, totally.
This will be a great contradicting points to this.
Yeah, I wanted to get into
that.
I'm
bearish on Terra 2. I think that there's a lot of bad things that they've been doing, and more stuff keeps coming out. And I don't know if it's good for brand recognition to be so closely tied to it.
I think very fair points. Curious to hear what everyone else thinks about that.
I don't think that it's bad to have a validator running. I actually am really bullish on that, but I don't think that we need to promo it any more than like I basically already did the other day via Twitter.
Yeah, I don't know if any of you guys saw Jesse Powell's tweet from Kraken. So Kraken launched support for Terra, and there was a lot of pushback. People are like, "Why are you supporting this chain?" I really liked Jesse's response, and I resonate a lot with it. Where he's like, we try to be chain agnostic, right? And we want to give users access to trade any asset that they want to trade, right? And there is demand from users for it. So I think it's a good stance for us to take too, of just being kind of chain agnostic. But I think there's some good points around like how much do we really market it on the top level for stuff like that. So I think you're right, Crusher. Like maybe it could make sense to do more just direct marketing to the Terra community. And on that note, we could potentially do a proposal or like get a discussion started in their forum about requesting some grant funding for implementing support for Terra. What do you guys think about that?
I agree with on that lens. Like we're trying to be more permissionless and like add like we want to support IBC as a whole. And I also am cautious of going full. I'm not a full blown Terra bull. It's more like I'm stuck in the situation of holding Terra for 3 years. Like we're going to support it. Is my mind. And especially if with Highlander's feedback, if it's just Kepler and it's just delegating and it's a quick lift, like yes. And their new governance process is, last I looked a couple of days ago, like a total disaster and nightmare. There's just so many spam proposals and stuff. And it actually could be an opportunity for us as a emerging DAO leader to be like, hey, we know how to DAO, let's help you. Or like something like that. Maybe that's leaning too much into it, but we have more experience as a full-blown DAO now to try to help or something like that.
Totally. Love those ideas, Marley. PTT, how do you feel about that?
I think.
Do you still feel like we
Kraken thread?
Yeah, let me find it.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, I just want to read some of the feedback on that. And then I do agree that we should be supporting all assets in IBC if and when it happens, even meme coins and shit coins. Just because then if we could become the #1 source for IBC to be able to bridge with Axelar and do everything in one platform, I think that would be the goal. But I do think that we should be cautious about like going out and saying, oh yeah, ShapeShift partnering with Terra 2, because I think that there's a lot of negative sentiment and that could bring unwanted feedback from IBC as a whole.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you on optics. Like, it definitely could be a really terrible thing to like get too heavily involved, but we don't have to like go show status. We can still like just support, at a baseline, like, fundamental level at the end of the day.
Do you feel that the optics are mainly resolving around the leadership and what they've been doing lately as far as, closing offices right beforehand and all the other kind of weird things that kind of took place and, taking, or do you think that it's the project itself that has a lot of negative connotations now? Is it just mainly from the leadership and what they've been kind of basically driving towards?
Yeah, I mean, I think that their brand has definitely been damaged. There's no question about that. Like the Luna name has a much different sentiment and meaning now than it did a month ago. But you never know, right? Like ultimately it comes down to like the community that sticks around and what they build, and if they're able to overcome that negative perception. I'm kind of bearish as well. but they built a lot of stuff that was valuable before, and this new version, should be more democratic, more decentralized, whereas the previous version very much was, in many ways, controlled by a small number of whales. So it was not as decentralized, not nearly as decentralized as they LARPed it to be. So yeah, I'm bearish, but you never know, right? Doge also didn't have a lot of utility before, and it turned into a meme. Like, this industry is really hard to predict. So I'm glad we have the validator running for it, and I generally agree that we should support all the Cosmos zones, within reason. Not just necessarily support everyone, but this one certainly has, decent, significant traction, meaningful traction, and I also agree that there's definitely some merit to trying to get our validators up and running and get support for these zones soon after launch, especially if anyone's like tried to claim their Luna or use their Luna. It is a mess right now because there's all this like legacy Luna stuff, and not easy to find interfaces and explorers and apps that support the new version. So I definitely think there's definitely opportunity there, in my opinion, for us to acquire users and earn revenues from the validator. But we got to be careful about like not hurting our reputation by shilling a token that we know we're not necessarily super bullish on ourselves. So those are my thoughts. My dog agrees. All right, awesome topic, Marley. Any other thoughts on this validator conversation or Luna? I would be curious, Marley. I don't know if you saw tokenomics yesterday, but we're going to work on a DAO financial model, and one of the things we want to do is kind of project future revenue streams as well, and like get an idea about when we'd be adding them. So it will be useful to it'd be useful to just kind of have the discussion around which Cosmos zones do we think should be top priority for getting validators and support for it, and kind of figuring out like working with engineering to figure out what we think is a realistic timeline.
Yeah. Well, Terra was the last proposal by Taxi was 3 validators: Juno, Terra, and I'm forgetting Yumi. And so that's now complete. So now we do need to look forward again. And it was Terra 1. But yeah, and I'm also interested in non-IBC zones. The market research I've been doing lately is like looking at ETH2 and the feasibility of that, actually. And just from like a market analysis point, like the amount of staked Cosmos is around $1.9 billion, and staked ETH is around 2.23 billion. So just the available market for other chains is much higher than I realized. So I'm interested in hearing opinions on non-IBC chains as well.
I'm super bullish on this. I was talking to Marley about this the other day. Definitely bullish. That's my input.
Yeah, definitely bullish on like other L1 staking and stuff near Solana. For ETH2, I would love for us to offer ETH2 staking. Is that something that we would? How would that look for like Taxi Stake to offer that versus just like integrating other liquid staking provider?
It would be a massive undertaking. Honestly, so I'm kind of doing preliminary research, but like looking at the players in the space is Kraken has ETH2, Stakefish has ETH2, Rocket Pool, etc. Trying to integrate those maybe is a better idea, but trying to be an ETH2 staker is interesting also. It's very, very different than Cosmos. So it's not like you put one server up and people delegate to it. It might be more feasible after the merge, but laying groundwork now would be really interesting. I also was trying to think of how that could be in the idea of ETH, where maybe that's some, like, I have no idea. It would be really complicated Solidity work that I don't know, but it's really interesting to consider.
Yeah, it's really interesting to consider ETH being staked to a validator. John, you got some thoughts?
Yeah, I'm on a plane, so I'm not sure if my voice will come through, but I was talking a little bit with Marley about this the other day, and I do think there's a huge opportunity. I don't know how we do it technically, but if there was a way that we could make like ShapeShift validator ETH staking a strategy for an ETH yieldy, that could be incredible. but I'm not exactly sure how to accomplish it.
Yeah, if anyone's really experienced with ETH validating, I would love to talk to you. I did some research, and 32 ETH was too rich for my blood, but I think that it's definitely a good market to be exploring the bare minimum.
Agreed. We would definitely love to offer ETH2 staking, whether we integrate a provider or if we can figure out a way to offer it ourselves, the feasible way to do it. I love the idea of doing it with ETH. That would be awesome. Ocean, any initial reactions to the idea of doing ETH2 staking with ETH? Is that crazy?
I mean,
yeah, just crazy.
I think it's crazy, but I think the bigger problem is that everyone that's looking for yield from staking is going to do it in a way that they can use leverage, right? And so you end up with the problem of you're going to only be able to do this in like an unlevered fashion versus all of the other options out there that are offering, like Instadap, for example, that are offering leverage and going to give you, 9 or 10% compared to the 4% that you're going to get if you do it unlevered.
Couldn't we use Foxy as collateral to enable leverage, ETH as collateral to enable leverage?
Potentially. I just don't know that you're going to get the same collateralization ratio that you would need. Like right now, I think the staked ETH is like on Aave is like 0.81, which is pretty aggressive compared to a smaller, less well-known ETH derivative.
Yeah, that's a very good point. The Lido has like huge market share, and then their liquid staking token is definitely winning in terms of like liquidity and DeFi support. Totally. But as long as there was some ETH used as collateral and stuff,
staking returns are less sexy but definitely more predictable at the same time. So I think that it's slightly different than DeFi leverage, but that's good input though, for sure.
Yeah, it would be hard to compete with ST ETH basically, unless we at least had some sort of leverage capabilities that had sufficient liquidity.
Yeah, it's not worth. I mean, it's certainly worth exploring more. I think diversification away from tokamak as the sole strategy behind the yieldies is really important because obviously, as we just saw, they, are free to change the rewards, and that really affects our ability to generate yield. So I still think it's worth considering, and it still may be better than just the yield from ETH and tokamak too. So wouldn't rule it out, but you do have some stiff competition from the leverage products out there.
And to your point, Ocean, we could potentially just, when we support strategies beyond tokamak for yieldies anyways, we could just use like Instadap's leverage long functionality. That could be a strategy that we look at doing. But we don't necessarily have to build it ourselves to still generate revenue from it and provide it to users. That'd be pretty cool. I'm also really just interested in that topic to see how the ETH2 staking, once the merge happens and it's fully liquid, how that will impact ETH and DeFi. Because right now ETH is a really popular collateral type, popular liquidity pairing type. But that's because the yield is always really low. It's generally one of the lowest yielding collateral types or assets to use in DeFi until we now have this ETH staking. And especially once the merge happens and we're not like depending on these protocols, you can just stake directly on the protocol level. It will be really interesting to see. Like, for instance, I wonder if a lot of ETH will get withdrawn from tokamak to then be put towards to staked. But that will, of course, then kind of raise the APR for ETH in DeFi. So it'll be very interesting to see how it all plays out. Sweet. Also, there's other. We'd be curious to hear, Marley, other L1s that you think we should be looking at for getting support. I know Near is interested in putting up a bounty to get Near integrated into ShapeShift.
Yeah, I'm more interested in hearing what other people think because I feel like my view is very IBC focused, and I'd rather be looking out. But top of mind, Cardano and Sol are probably the biggest different ones. And Sol has the largest cap after ETH for staking.
Cool. Not looking forward to supporting Cardano, but you never know.
I looked into it pretty deep, and it's really advanced infrastructure. Like I stopped after I looked into it, and I was like, oh, that's a project and a half. So,
what about all the peer reviews then?
Cool. Well, thank you for using me. I don't want to take the whole time talking about staking. So if anyone else has stuff too,
do you want to, Willie? How's Yak going?
Great question, Diggy. Do you want to give us a quick update on the Yat integration?
Sure. We had several rounds with them on the UI UX. Each time had them simplify, and now we think it's in a good place. We actually just pinged DeFi this morning now that he's back to have him take a quick look at that, and if he's cool with it, we're going to have them do like an architectural flow, and then we'll do the final sign off before they move into development. So I'd say we're about 70% there. The development lift on the project looks pretty minimal at this point. And actually, I can probably share that tomorrow in the product office hours. So I will make a note to have that in case anybody's interested.
Excited about that. There should be like some pretty good marketing opportunities, like cross-marketing opportunities with Yat. There's a ton of like influencers that like use Yat and stuff. So I'm interested to see what happens there for sure.
Awesome. Yeah, that would be cool. I'm sure they would love that too.
It'll be a solid revenue stream. I'm hopeful too. I remember just when we had that like AMA, so many community members were buying Yats because they're cool, they're interesting, and we will get 25% affiliate revs from every Yat sold through ShapeShift. Excited for it.
Yeah, I can just buy my Yats on ShapeShift now. So cool.
Yeah, just your Yat purchases alone will be substantial.
Dude, I stopped buying them, but now I'll be able to have a reason to ape into them again. Hopefully
Speaking of affiliate revs, I just was curious, and I don't know if we already knew this, but Lido has an affiliate rev program. I know it's maybe antithetical to a decentralized node, but it is maybe a way forward if we wanted to offer leverage staking within our platform and earn revenue from it.
Sweet. You think it would fit nicely with our single-sided staking abstraction?
Don't know. I have not researched it enough to know. I just I can post the link in general, but just was reading that they do offer it.
That's awesome. I'm optimistic that it would. It should be the same UI UX as the Yearn integration. So I'm excited. I wanted to ask about that at the EMPM this afternoon to see where we're at with that. Are we ready to start putting bounties up for these projects to come integrate themselves, or is there still some final work on the single-sided staking abstraction? But yeah, as soon as we confirm that's ready to go, Lido, I think, would make sense as a priority single-sided staking abstraction with that built-in affiliate revenue program. That's awesome.
I also totally think they are very well funded and could be a better choice for ETH2 staking. I'm not trying to say we should reinvent the wheel. It would be a huge endeavor, 100%. So Lido integration would be awesome if they offer that.
Yeah, that's why these affiliate programs are awesome, right? Like we don't have to build everything ourselves. If we have an interface and users, a lot of these protocols are happy to share a slice of their revenues with us. And then, who knows which protocol will win in the end too. We've already seen just from the past couple of years how the DeFi landscape has changed and different winners and leaders have emerged and traded places a few times. So one benefit of this strategy is it enables us to diversify a little bit. And whichever protocol wins, we can win as well, as opposed to, or if any of these protocols that we integrate get really big, we can benefit as opposed to putting all of our eggs in one basket.
Also worth mentioning that I just was clicking around and didn't realize they also offer a couple other networks. So Solana's on there too. So I'm assuming that the referral program probably extends to all of them.
That's awesome. Great find, Ocean. Definitely we should look at that. All right, opening it up for other topics. Who's going to make it out to ETH Barcelona? Or is anyone considering it at least?
I am considering it, but you already knew that.
Hope you can make it, Diggy. Would be awesome.
Next week, and
Who's talking right now? You're cutting out.
Marley.
It's Marley. Yeah, it's weird. Maybe the microwave. There's an osmosis conference coming up like next week in Austin, Texas.
Yeah, I saw that one.
Wait, I'll be in Austin, Texas next week.
Yeah,
What?
I know Consensus is going on.
Yeah,
That's really big.
piggybacking it.
Kind of came out of nowhere. Like they threw it together really quickly.
Ooh, Highlander, are you gonna make it down to Consensus?
Yeah, a bunch of us got free tickets. We haven't booked our stay yet, and it's really drying up. But yeah, I think we're going to be going down. Could you post links to the osmosis thing? I'm interested.
I just put it in general. There's like it says coming soon. It's like 9 days away, and they don't have tickets out yet. So I'm like really confused by it.
That's the first day of Consensus too, June 9th. That's interesting.
Yeah, interesting to choose the exact same date.
Party too. I remember at ETH Denver, but tickets were super limited, and like you're supposed to message them, and I never heard back from them when I had done that.
Well, thank you for mentioning that, Marley. I'm definitely gonna at least try and check out some of those events.
I just get a spinner on the get tickets. Yeah.
It's so funny. It's in 8 days and you can't even get tickets yet. It'll be interesting to see. I mean, one thing's for sure, it'll be the true Osmosis fans that make it up there.
It didn't look real because like it came out of nowhere. The tickets aren't available, but I think it's real.
Gonna be a bunch of.
I got that link from their Twitter.
Like red solo cups and stuff.
So I'm excited to hear how close we are with this Osmosis integration, so we can give good updates and get more embedded with that Osmosis community. All right. Any other questions or topics from the group?
Do we have any go into Consensus? Says you, Willie?
I know Elmut was considering it. I think he's considering going with you, of course. I know Griff's coming from Giveth. Anyone else? We're not sponsoring it or anything, but it's in my hometown, so I wanted to make it down there. At least have some presence down there. Should be a fun one. Looks like it's just going to be us, Highlander.
Let's rage.
Heck yeah. All right. What other topics do we have? You guys seen the governance channel? They are finally bringing back ideation on Boardroom. So if anyone has any ideas for how they can improve it or feedback from, you remember from when it was live, Kevin, their founder, is very interested in hearing that. Speaking of governance, did you claim your optimism airdrop or check to see if you're eligible?
Where do you have a link to the checker?
Yeah, let me grab it.
Thank you.
I think anyone who voted in the ShapeShift DAO is eligible. My voting addresses got airdrops. I was surprised by that.
Nice. Let's do an announcement to the community. The DAO also got some in the DAO.
We should confirm.
Nice.
Yeah.
No, yeah, you're right. I was thinking about doing an announcement, but yeah.
Can you do an announcement, Hunt? That'd be awesome.
Yeah, I'll put something together.
Thanks, dude. Yeah, their governance is pretty interesting too. They're trying something new. I haven't fully dove into it yet, but they basically have like two types of voting power. So there's the optimism token, of course, which is transferable, and they have this like non-transferable type, which is more for like contributors. So I know it reminded me a lot of the conversations we were having a couple weeks ago about one day potentially involving our governance. So cool to see some experiments like this happening. Okay, I guess a similar thing for us would be if we were to like give NFTs to contributors that give them some special voting rights. It'll be interesting to see how it works out for them, though. They had a really nice airdrop claim flow too.
It's making me read.
Yeah, it does make you read. Yeah. Yeah, you should probably go through it when you have a moment to read, or just take screenshots and come back.
I also saw Griff as a delegator. I think they make you or ask you to delegate.
Yeah, they make you select a delegator, and then it's an on-chain transaction to delegate. But you don't actually have to delegate. They first you claim, and then if you want, you can just skip the delegate option, save 25 cents.
The only name I recognized was Griff.
Yeah,
Griff Green.
That's who I delegated to. And yeah, the DAO signers also got some optimism. So I'm planning to claim that, and as soon as the optimism bridges, the bridge for the optimism token is live, just bridge that to the DAO treasury. So we'll have a small bag.
Nice.
All right. Any other questions? These meetings work the best when you guys ask questions. Give me about anything.
Anyone excited for the Amber Heard and Johnny Depp trial announcement at 3?
Get out.
Over the moon.
Yeah. No.
It's been my guilty pleasure watch after DAO work.
Is Foxonomics No Life in here right now? He's posted in general. See if he's available to join.
I have stage chat open, so I'm not sure. He was asking if we got any OP for the DAO.
And we did, as soon as that bridge goes live. I'm reading what he's saying about, I see. It sounds like he's thinking the Lido program, which I haven't read into it enough, means that if you refer somebody, you earn less yield yourself. I'm not sure, but yeah, certainly if we do implement a referral program, I agree that it shouldn't be the type of referral program where you earn less by referring somebody. Let's see, Foxonomics, you in here? No, not yet.
I just want to throw something out too. I just got a ping from a community member, and in general, I think we kick around a lot of ideas as a DAO, and if anyone has like the desire or the passion to take any of these ideas forward, and even possibly like create some proof of concept and a proposal, the DAO is still in a place where it would be very happy to explore ideas and potentially compensate people to go and vet these things. So, worth pursuing all of them. We can't as like the core team, but that's like the power of the community, right? And so, I think it's really good that if people are interested in it to take it forward, bring a proposal forward, and we can as a DAO try to figure out the right things. But I think that's really where we'll see like multipliers with the community is if people do take stuff and being willing to take initiatives on in different ways. So like we shouldn't try to, I guess like it's really bad if everything has to funnel through the centralized core team. And it's much better if we can have like these parallel tracks going on. So I just encourage people to reach out, think about it, and we can always find a path forward.
Thanks for mentioning that from Ocean. Yeah, certainly don't never feel like you need permission to DAO something or to explore some of these ideas. And hope we can have a culture where everyone feels comfortable to suggest ideas or explore ideas. We're definitely all figuring this out together. And it's one of the beauties of the DAO. Hunt and Toasty, I know you guys had some updates on, or had a call with our swag merchandise provider. You guys want to give any updates on latest swag plans? Thanks for that announcement, by the way, Hunt. What's going on with swag?
I don't know if Toki's here. Is he here? I could try to ping him. We have like active discussions going on. I guess we're literally in the middle of a conversation right now in DMs about further updates and progress. I need to drag Gray Machine into the combo at some point, possibly. Yeah, and just move forward with things. It's looking like our store might be updated maybe now. So if people want to go check out that copy, I haven't had time to check it out. But yeah, we should be moving forward pretty quickly with those updates. So I'll make another announcement in a little while about that and our current status and if people can order and stuff. I'm pretty sure we can ship like next day. Currently with the stock that we already paid for like a month or two ago. So it's looking good.
Sweet.
That's the TDM merch or the...
Yeah, that's TDM.
Okay. I was getting confused which merch we're talking about.
Yeah, I'm stoked on the Made It Factory launch too. I definitely want Toasty here for that combo. He's been heading that a little bit, but I've seen the designs and have been in some of the conversations, and it looks pretty cool.
Nice. Did anyone get their swag from TDM yet?
Got a t-shirt. Yeah. Fortunately,
it's still yesterday too.
I bought it for my kid. My 11-year-old asked for one for his birthday, and it took like 4 months to. I was worried that he had outgrown it in the time it took to ship, but it still fits. So all good.
Nice. Glad it made it eventually.
It's a nice shirt. Like it's it's a decent quality shirt.
Yeah, I was proud of the quality as well. I like the little label thing they added to it. All right. Anyone got any questions or topics they'd like to bring up?
Just want to mention real quick, probably going to be posting, at least in the forum, I think it's going to be SCP-81. I brought this up last week, the funding proposal to finish the post-production on the remaining footage that we have from ETH Denver. So I just wanted to bring that up. I posted, I think, the work in progress Google Doc that has the proposal. I could put it in incubation, I think. Or GK made a sub discussion on it. So it's there if anybody wants to read through it. Let me find too many channels. Oh,
yeah, it's an incubation.
Incubation. Yeah, there's a little sub-range there. So there's I shared a Google Doc in there if anybody wants to read through it. And I think one of the Amadeus DAO folks is here. Oh, there he is. Yeah.
Yeah. How's it going, Gray?
Hey. Going all right.
How are you guys doing? And Willie, hello. It's been a while. It's been since ETH, but yeah, your face, your pretty face is a big part of this video content.
Hey, great to see you. Excited to see all this video content finally get edited so we can put it out there. And yeah, thank you guys. I don't know if you want to do a quick intro to the community. The broader community might not be familiar with you guys yet, but would love for you to introduce yourself.
Yeah, of course. So my name is JB Amadeus. I have a partner with Amadeus Style as our media house, and we filmed a bunch of interviews and talks of the ShapeShift crew. And we've already created a handful of videos from the talks and from the interviews with Willie and Josh. And we kind of ended up, ShapeShift kind of ended up getting kind of the most footage from the event for us. And so we kind of made all the deliverables that was first outlined, but we have a whole bunch of extra great content that's pretty close to being ready to go. Just need to do some of the edits, but having most of the content ready. And so our proposal is essentially just wanting the extra funding to be able to knock out the rest of his videos, which comes out to about 15 YouTube videos and 20 social media videos of really high-end video production content with Willie, Josh, Danielle, Rotorless, Zero X Cafe, and Kent. So I think we have a lot of good stuff that should be able to roll out. Once that proposal goes, we can start getting out. So you guys will have a real good stream of content flowing. And I think there's still some stuff, Gray, that from our last round that still is going to go up here soon as well.
Yeah, I kind of feel like it's one of those things where you posted all the content and we grabbed some of it, and then there's a bunch of stuff still there that we didn't grab. So I'm kind of going through it. In fact, Willie, there's a big roadmap discussion you gave about Cosmos. So I put the raw, a link to that raw, not raw, I should say raw, but it's the like a Dropbox link.
Sweet.
To that in marketing.
I think I tweeted out the Cosmos one for my personal at least. But let me know if I didn't.
I mean, it's on YouTube. It's on, I think, on the Amadeus style YouTube channel, but I don't think it's on the ShapeShift.
Yeah, we should get it on our YouTube.
Yeah, we should. Yeah.
Yeah, you guys have all the files. Just a couple things live on our thing, just so we could kind of show you guys. But I encourage everyone go to the ShapeShift DAO YouTube, and there's a playlist of ETH Denver that has a good amount of the videos we've made so far for you guys.
Yeah, you guys did a great job with the videos, and it was awesome filming with you at ETH Denver. So really appreciate you putting together this proposal to take all that other really quality footage that you guys captured and turn it into useful content. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I didn't know you said 20 videos for social media, 30 interviews, is that what you said?
No, there's about going to be 15 YouTube videos. And so the YouTube videos are, let's say, 2 to 3 minutes. And we have 5 different ones that are storied out. So topics where, we'll pull a clip from you and from Kent and Josh and make that kind of a cohesive story around each point. And then we're going to have 10 videos that are clips from people's interviews. So like Kent talking about the tokenomics, like we've done ones of you about the roadmap, videos like that are short, but still, digestible for the users. And then from there, go into 20 social media clips that are 20 to 40 seconds that are still edited really nice. Like, so you guys know, like we had 3 cameras for each interview. So everything's like multi-cammed out with audio and graphics that we've done. But for the social media, just shorter little clips that are just, easy digestible 1-point things for social.
Awesome. Thanks for explaining that. And thank you guys again for capturing all that extra footage. I know that wasn't part of the initial scope, but glad that you guys had some extra time and we were able to use it to get some good footage.
I know, I'm pumped. It was one of those awesome things where I think ShapeShift was like the last one to join the filming party, but you guys got the most stuff. Like it was just because you guys were all game. Like that was the best part, was you were so good on camera, and like the whole team was just willing to put the time to film with us. And I think, like you guys reaped, I think, the most benefit from it, which is awesome.
Love to hear that. Yeah, props to Foxes. We had such a great presence at ETH Denver. That was an amazing conference. I'm glad we captured a lot of it. Sweet. Well, thanks, JB. Any questions about this proposal? I guess when is it? It's in the incubation stage. When will this go up to ideation?
Yeah, it'll just go up for I'll go to the forum today was kind of our goal.
Sweet. Thanks, JB.
Yeah, thank you guys. And if you guys have any questions, feel free. I think Graham is going to post that in the forum, but me and my partner will be there to answer any questions. So feel free to ask any questions you like, or go to ShapeShift DAO YouTube and you can see some of our work so far.
Awesome. Yeah, maybe we can post some links to some of the other videos you guys did as examples, or if those are those in the incubation post already.
There is a playlist on the Amadeus YouTube channel.
No, on the ShapeShift DAO one. I think we use that one.
Oh,
right.
Well,
The ones that you guys have up.
You had a YouTube playlist of all the stuff that you had edited on your. It was just like one place that everything that, or a bunch of stuff that was edited. It should be enough to at least, for anybody that hasn't seen the work to get a feel for it. But I'll make sure that there's links to see the caliber of work that has been done so far.
Great. Thank you so much, Gray. Gray's been a lot of help with this proposal, so thanks so much.
Yep.
Thank you, Gray.
In talking about proposals, I'll say just because this is like a very stable group of people that are usually in these AMAs, there was a post maybe last week Friday or on the weekend about the yieldies that Kent put together before he is out for a period of time. I didn't see much action on it, so I did reply to it I think yesterday or whatever. So I'll just letting the crew here know, just because you guys are normally the ones that are looking at those things and stuff. If you didn't know already, I did kind of reply back to that post about the yieldies with some comments and stuff. So I'd love to hear feedback from others as well.
Yeah, thanks for bringing that up, Neverwise, and thanks for your response. Just posted the link. Maybe we can go through some of these questions, and you can give your thoughts on each of them, Neverwise, and then we can open it up to the group. So the first question in here is what percentage of revenue earned from yieldy strategies will be directed back to the DAO? And the options that Ken had given for this, well, actually, I don't think he gave options for it quite yet. Oh, no, he did. So the options right now for what percentage of yieldy revenues should be directed back to the DAO. And really this is, I think we need to fix the language in this, because the current plan is for the yieldy revenues to be, for a percentage to be used to buy Fox to reward Foxy holders. And the DAO is one of those, is a Foxy holder itself. So we will get some percentage of that, but the flow will be basically taking a percentage of yieldy revenues each week, buying Fox with those toke rewards, and then depositing that Fox into the Foxy contract as rewards for stakers. Which, by the way, happy rebase day, everybody. So yeah, the options were 5, 7, 10, 13.37%. Right now, 10% is in the lead. What were your thoughts on this, Neverwise?
Yeah, I'm driving as usual, but so my thoughts were geared around, well, I think it's important that we come up with the initial, amount that we want as a percentage. I think that going forward, this will be an adaptable, thing that we could kind of gauge from, demand for these different yieldies, as well as market response and replies or changes, fluctuations. So my thing was just basically, I think it's a great thing to do, but maybe we don't have to like focus on it being the end all be all initially. Like, we can come up with something that makes sense, and then we can have a strategy going forward to where that changes, as long as we can basically publicly share that how we want to come to conclusions and share kind of like our thoughts on where we want to go with it and the strategies. I listed like maybe 4 strategies that are just some examples of like what we want to do, like initially setting a low rate to generate demand and for the yieldies themselves and growth of utilization. And then you have a second one which is more like maximizing DAO revenue, and then there's like a blend, and then there's like a last one that was kind of just like a default, like just set it and then adjust after the fact when market kind of changes. We can then just deal with it.
Nice, great comprehensive answer there. Yeah, I definitely agree. We will be reactionary, right? Well, we should pick something and come up with a strategy for why we're picking that, and be open to flexibility. Any thoughts on what we should set it at to start? Which one of those strategies is your favorite?
Good question. I really want to hear like the community what they think. If we should go for like a, market grab, like as far as like promoting the yieldies and keeping it low initially, or if we should go for like a middle of the ground type thing where it's like we can get the best of both worlds and then kind of swap out of those strategies as needed. So I think like it was said that 10% is probably a good starting point. I believe that could be a very good starting point just because it it sets a bar for expectations and stuff. But yeah, I'm definitely open to what the community thinks as a whole though.
I'd rather see room to walk down the commission than walk it up. I think that is people usually do. Users usually react poorly to commissions going up. So I think that's my initial thought when I read through that.
Yeah, I think that's a good point, Marley. Definitely hear that. And yeah, I'm curious too, like how much more land we would grab if we had lower fees. One thing to note with these quote unquote fees is that it's a performance fee. So we're not ever taking charging users in a way that would reduce their balance. It's always just a percentage of the rewards they're earning. And the way this would be reflected to the user, I'm sure we'll have clear documentation about it. But in the UI, it will just be included in the APR or the APY that a user sees. So like the difference between 10% and 13.37% would just be a slightly lower APY that would be displayed to the user. But users care about that APY, so I do think there's merit to the strategy of like potentially starting low, but I think I lean towards Marley's perspective that would be better. Ideally we can just set it and forget it. We should be reactionary, but if we could just set it and then not have to make an announcement like, hey, we raised it or lowered it, I think that could be preferable. But definitely agree, we should be reactionary and open to revisiting. Any other thoughts on that first question? What percentage of yieldy rewards should go to Foxy? I think 13.37% is kind of fun too.
Yeah, I think ultimately what it boils down to is what the overall strategy is that we want to get out of this, and if we can kind of like have the discussions about the strategy of what we want to accomplish with these initial rollouts of the yieldies and how we want to go about accomplishing that, I think it comes kind of from that. It'll kind of be garnered from that type of strategy. We'll be able to get a lot more solid information about where we feel it makes the most sense to be.
Well said. All right, this next question is an interesting one. I think we got time for at least this one. One of the next questions in this Yieldy forum post is who is responsible for the maintenance of Yieldy strategies? And in the draft, Kent says that similar to the responsibilities outlined in the Foxy proposal, the TMDC would determine how to manage the strategies that generate revenue for Yieldy assets. However, the strategies themselves would be a matter of community governance. Of course, the first version of these yieldies will only support Tokamak as a strategy, but adding new strategies, that's something that he's specifying, that would be up to the community, not up to the TMDC to do that. Similar to how Yearn's strategies work, probably. And then he says the TMDC will also determine if and when to deploy FEI, LUSD, and ALCXY, three of the reactors we're currently looking at being the first ones, but that's another topic up for discussion. Nevertheless, I know you had some thoughts on, or sorry if I interrupted anybody, but I do know Nevertheless has some thoughts on this. If that wasn't Nevertheless who just spoke,
that was Ron.
Do you have any thoughts? Hey, Ron, what are your thoughts?
I'd like to maybe throw out some cautionaries to like, obviously the TMDC exists as a proposal right now and would need to be re-upped. And if for whatever reason they were not to be re-upped, that would leave these yieldies unmanaged by anybody. And I think that maybe we need to have a backup plan in place for if that situation were to occur at some point.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like my initial reaction to that is that the default backup is always the community, basically. But potentially, it might make sense to have another backup. But I do think that is a decent backup, right? And if we're at a point where there's a TMDC proposal that looks like it might not pass and they're running out of time, then I think that'd be a strong signal for the community to make a proposal for another to delegate that authority to somebody else, or to just keep that power held by the community if that's what they want to do.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm not in front of a screen, so I know the gist of what my response was, but it's probably not, verbatim of what I actually had time to sit down and put to forum. But basically, I was kind of cautionary too. I think that the scope of what the TMDC has currently for treasury management is a little bit out of the jurisdiction that I think that these new primitives as a product, as well as a potential product that the DAO has, they would be administering. I think that it's going to need a little bit more dedication, attention, process, and some other things that I think that with the current plate that the TMDC has in front of them may lead to not full attention, or not garnering the attention that the DAO could see potentially from these yieldies going forward. I see some good explosive potential in these, and we are capitalizing on that the most effective way versus just lumping it in with TMDC and saying, hey, TMDC kind of does this, and so we can kind of get them to do that. I feel that we're getting a little bit too reliant on the TMDC as well, but that's another discussion for another time. And I even left it in the post as that. But yeah, that's kind of my gist of.
Yeah, I definitely hear your points, and I appreciate you guys bringing up these cautionary points. I think you make some good points. I also think we have the TMDC, and the benefits of the TMDC are that they can move quickly. They are, consent is delegated to them by the community, and obviously, we're doing our best to appoint people who we think have the skills to fulfill that role. And although some of these things could be argued that they're outside of the realm of quote unquote treasury diversification, I think you could still make the argument that those same skills would apply. And if we're placing trust in them for treasury management, maybe if we want to have somebody who can move more nimbly than DAO governance, I can see the arguments for TMDC. But I'm actually just curious. I would want to understand better, what actual powers are we granting the TMDC, and maybe that will help us give us a better idea of whether they're the right fit